Hi, this is Charlie O'Brien from the Association of Equipment Manufacturers, and we're here today with Benjamin Duck, Director of Market Intelligence for AEM. We're here today to talk about the AgriTech Business Barometer from AgriRevolution. AgriRevolution is made up of 13 associations, equipment associations from around the world, and I think, Benjamin, you've been working on this AgriTech Barometer that basically asks the same survey questions about trends and what's happening in the marketplace overall around the world. So as you look at the information, what kind of information are you seeing? What's kind of the major takeaways that you see from the information?
Well, Charlie, when we look at the October 2015 results, I must say that the biggest takeaway here is that the climate index, or confidence index as you may call it, has reverted back to a decline to -3 points. Let's take a look at the chart. The climate index is actually composed of a current and a future situation index. The current situation index has actually been declining since October 2013 and is now at its lowest point in a cycle at -14 points, which is also the lowest since the previous cycle in April 2010. The reason that we saw an uptick earlier this year was due to the optimism in the future situation. In October, the future situation came in at 8 points. We cannot say for sure where this optimism is coming from. It took us a little bit by surprise, but perhaps it's from executives' feelings that the next 6 months of the market will be better than the past 6 months.
So in essence, Benjamin, when we look at that, what it's telling us is that there was optimism a year ago, but now it's turned back down, and so now things are looking a little bit more negative even than a year ago.
Exactly.
Okay. So when you look at that, that's kind of a global look at it. So when you look at it, is there something more regionally? Are there differences in the regions when you look at that?
Yeah, regionally, the United States and Brazil continue to perform the most poor. This is actually in line with our own research. We follow the U.S. market quite closely, and this is very strongly in line with our quarterly ag conditions industry trends report for the United States. We see that new orders are not experiencing a new uptick. The current situation is rated as unfavorable, and on top of that, we have a country like Brazil, which is experiencing strong credit restraints. Now, when we look at the eastern markets, let's talk about Russia, China, India. They all seem to have a little bit more optimism in the market. And we can see that Asian markets do rely on exports more heavily. And that makes sense as the US export position is so weak nowadays with the strong US dollar. But another important factor here is that government policies in those countries, and basically in any country in the world, continue to be very important for the market. And when we look at Russia and China, their respondents to the survey are saying that their government policies are very positive, while, for example, in the United States, government policies are ranked as neutral as best.
Of course, I know policy in the United States is kind of marginal at best these days when we try to get things through and we have positive perception. I guess coming back towards the United States, we see a lot of negative information here in terms of trend lines overall. Is there anything that suggests we're close to the bottom?
Close to the bottom, that would be hard to tell, but when we look at what other analysts are saying, when we look at the history over the last couple of years, we see that we've experienced a very strong bull market. We've had very high commodity prices, we had very strong government support, and a lot of farmers with a lot of income replacing their older equipment. Today, the downturn might be looked more as an adjustment to a new normal, where commodity prices will probably be a little bit higher than they are today, but still be lower than they were 5 years ago. Added to that, some of the government support has gone missing, so we can see that while we might not have bottomed out, the worst is probably over. The biggest declines are probably over.
Okay, well, that's good news. Well, that's all we have today. Thanks, Benjamin, for joining us today. If people want to find more information out about either the AgriTech Barometer or other information, where would they go?
They would go to aem.org/agreports, or they can email me at bduik@aem.org.
Okay, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.